Hey, I'm Bruce Taylor, your boomer consumer, and welcome to my channel. I think today's video is going to be kind of a fun one. Before I get started, though, I just want to mention that this video is not about the sound comparison between CD, vinyl, and streaming. Rather, I'm just giving you the reasons why I'm still purchasing and collecting CDs in 2024. Now, you may have some of the same reasons you're doing it, or you may have different opinions, and that's fine. I always appreciate your comments down below. So let's get started with the 10 reasons why I'm still buying and collecting CDs. Number one, and this is the biggest one. I'm at a point in my life right now where I'm very time compressed. In other words, I work all day running a small business, plus I'm my wife's primary health caregiver. And I have to run all the errands and the doctor's appointments and prescriptions and groceries and all that kind of stuff. And by the end of the day, I'm whooped, folks. I'm really whooped. And so the time is very important to me. So when I mention the vinyl ritual, if you're buying and collecting vinyl, many of you are probably hitting the thrift stores, garage sales. You might be doing eBay, Discogs, that sort of thing. You might be going to record stores and crate digging. That all takes a lot of time that I simply don't have. Furthermore, there's the whole ritual of cleaning and storing the records, then the turntable, making sure the stylus is clean, the tone arm is perfectly balanced, the table is perfectly level, you're dusting off the platter, all this stuff. Put it on the record, then you're using I use a carbon fiber brush, and some of you might be using a Zero Stat, all that to sit down and listen to 20 minutes worth of music. With CDs, unless they're cruddy or scratched up real bad, simply take it out of the jewel case, pop it in, hit play, and I'm golden. I don't have any of those steps as far as, we're going to talk about how I acquired these here in a little bit. But let's just say I don't go through a lot of hoops to get these. Now, number two, I'm not paying for multiple streaming services. I'm not what I consider streaming dependent for my music. And what I did is I took an older Mac Mini, converted it to a music server. I used the free Plex server software. I did get the Plex amp software on my phone. But I also have the Weem streaming system, if you will. I have the Weem Mini, the Weem Plus, I think is what it's called, the Weem Pro Plus. Oh, yeah, the Weem Mini, Weem Pro Plus. Anyhow, I have all Weem devices for streaming throughout the house, right? So I was able, with Plexamp, I'm able to generate radio stations, listen by genre. I can search for a particular artist, play all the albums that I have from them, and so on. And I'm not really paying for streaming services with a lot of music that I don't care for, will never listen to, etc. I have my own music collection and stuff I love. Now, I do have Apple Music as part of the Apple One service, which I use mostly for discovery. Maybe I hear somebody mention a particular artist, I'll go listen to it, decide if I want to buy the CD or get it on vinyl or what have you. But that is how I'm basically doing my streaming. Reason number three, I can collect a particular artist, right, their whole collection, for a fraction of the cost of doing it on vinyl. I'll give you an example. Big Simon and Garfunkel fan here, right? Because they were the big thing back in my day. Now, their complete album collection on CD, which I just bought, I think it's an 11 or 12 CD box set, was under $50 on Amazon. Looking at the same thing in vinyl, the prices are insane. I've seen prices as high as $700, I think either $729 or $749 for the same music on vinyl. Huge difference. So let me tell you, at this stage in my life, as I'm preparing for retirement in the hopefully near future, every penny counts, but I want to have the music that I enjoyed when I was younger. And this was a great way to do it. Okay, reason number four. This is also an important one to me. Throughout the day, I like to have background music playing, and I don't pay particular attention to it. I just find it to be relaxing. Sometimes I'll be listening to maybe some blues, or I'll have some jazz instrumentals going, something like that. I just take my CD, pop it in, and if I feel like it, and I really like the music, I really dig it, I'll put it on repeat. You can't really do that with a turntable, just play it over. I do have a turntable that will do that, but you don't want to really do that with vinyl. So, yeah, I think that makes it very convenient. Again, I have my own little streaming service of my own music that I love. Reason number 5. I hope many of you can agree with me on this. New vinyl, I just think is getting crazy expensive. And the used market, I think, is Looney Tunes as well. You know, buying used records over the internet, and for me, I can't speak for everybody. For the most part, it's been decent, but it has been a bit of a crapshoot, as there's a number of sellers that do not grade things properly. I think I've had several damaged, maybe in shipping, or maybe they knew they were, I don't know. I've received more than my share of cracked, records that were physically cracked, unplayable, or totally misgraded. They were almost unlistenable, yet sold as near mint. Because I don't have the time to go crate digging and looking at records before I buy them, you kind of put yourself in the place of trusting an honest seller. Unfortunately, not everybody is all that honest. Now, when I get used CDs, it's been my experience so far that almost all of them, save maybe one or two, or at least good enough to where I can rip them and put them on my music server and put them back away, and then they're fine. Reason number 6, people will just give me the CD collections, or they'll sell them to me dirt cheap. For example, a fellow up in Fort Wayne had a collection of like 300 CDs in a huge box, most of it classic rock, and he was trying to sell them for around $2 or $3 a piece. And he had this posted for quite some time on Facebook Marketplace. And one day, just out of the blue, I thought, hey, I tell you what, I'll give you $100 for the whole lot. If you're tired of trying to piecemeal these things, I'll meet you somewhere, I'll give you $100 to take them off your hands. I didn't think he'd reply. Turns out he writes back and goes, okay. Next thing you know, I've got I think it was like 350 CDs for $100. So like 20 cents a piece or something. And there was a number of good ones, and there was stuff I didn't care for. I just donated to charity. I've had other people just say, you know what, we're moving, or I need space, or whatever, blah, blah, blah. Here, just take these things. They consider, far too many people consider their CDs to be worthless in this day of streaming, and are more than willing to either sell them super cheap or just give them to you. Or I can go to the local thrift store, which is another... Let's just put it this way. They've got thousands of CDs as you can buy on Wednesdays for $1 a piece, but you have to dig through them, and they're no particular order. And there's a lot of stuff that just would not appeal to me, and I probably to a lot of people, unless you're into Jim Neighbors and Marty Robbins, or, religious or Christmas music, that kind of thing. Now, number 7. My storage space is pretty limited right now, especially, as well as I do, that storing vinyl records can take up a tremendous amount of space. CDs obviously are much smaller, and I can store more CDs in the same amount of space as I can vinyl records. That's just being practical. What's even more practical, I only keep the CDs that I love and that, I would not wish to physically purchase another copy of if something were to happen. All right. So the stuff, like I said, that I don't like or won't listen to very often, I'll just rip to the hard drive and then donate the CD to charity. That's kind of what I do. Reason number 8, my vehicle has a CD player, right? So yeah, it's a little bit older. It's a 2017 vehicle, but it still has a built-in CD player. Me and my wife, we're traveling quite a bit, and we live in a very rural state. Indiana is very rural, and you can go miles and you lose all your bars and all your internet connection on your phone. So if I was streaming music on Apple Music, let's say, the song would just kind of start to jitter and then stop. Bring along some CDs, you got music the whole way until at least you get internet service back on your phone. Reason number 9, multi-room music. Let's talk about that for just a minute. I personally am not a big fan of television. There are movies and shows that I enjoy, but for the most part, I could get by without a TV. Like I said, unless it's a great movie, something like that. And I would rather have music playing throughout the house, but I'd like to be able to leave one room, go to another, hear the same song. Now, with my Plex music server and the Weem streamers throughout the house, that's very easy to do. That's something you're just not going to do with vinyl. You can do it with streaming. I think it depends on service. Some only allows, depending on your tier or whatever, like you're allowed to stream to so many devices. I'm not really sure about that. If you know about that, leave something in the comments down below. But it's very easy to have my music streaming throughout the house in a digital format versus, say, vinyl. And again, buying CDs allows me to curate the kind of music that I enjoy. Reason number 10, limited editions. You know, there's a number of artists that will release limited edition CDs with bonus tracks. They have exclusive content. Maybe the packaging is kind of unique. Could make them collectible somewhere down the road, but that is something to keep in mind when you're purchasing CDs, that you might be getting bonus material that you wouldn't get on vinyl record. Bonus. Let's talk about thrifting one more time. In my town, we have a Salvation Army. And they have some used records, and they've got just this massive thing of CDs. The vinyl records are, for the most part, either some old classical, collections of classical, again, the Marty Robbins, the Jim Neighbors, a lot of country or religious type music. And I tell you what, I've been looking at used records in their bin for the last several years. They're not selling them. They can't give them away. It's a crapshoot. Maybe somebody once in a while does bring in some vinyl, but then it's gets picked over really, really quickly. The CDs, occasionally I get a really good deal. I've gotten some Aerosmith, I got some Black Sabbath, Linda Ronstadt, etc. You just got to take your time and go through. And as I said earlier, every Wednesday you can get them for $1 a piece. So I think for me, it's a great way to get used CDs. And I would say most of CDs have either been given to me or bought them in bulk, dirt cheap. And that's how I get my CDs. But if there's a particular CD that I want, generally I go to eBay, buy them there. And a lot of these sellers are like buy two, get the third free type of thing. And I've been able to collect certain artists, almost their entire catalog, that way. And maybe, I think the most I've paid for a CD is around $6 on eBay. And with shipping, maybe $8. That'd be the most. So those are some of the reasons why I'm still collecting CDs in 2024. I would like to hear your take on collecting CDs or vinyl, whatever it is you collect, and the reasons why in the comments down below. Bruce Naylor, your Boomer Consumer. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.